have an SAISD alumni. What year?
I graduated 2000, the year 2000.
So
yeah.
This is my new friend, Brandon Ligon, B. Liggy, and his mother is a great teacher at Bowie Elementary. And I think you have gone and worked with some children.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. It is. I have been all over the place, and I'm not finished yet either.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have grown up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me where all you went to school.
All right. Well, I started off at my mother's school, Bowie Elementary, and I went there till 3rd grade, and then actually till 4th grade. I went to 4th grade on at McGill Elementary.
Okay.
Then we moved on to Lee Junior High, and then I was a Central Bobcat. And then I went to Angelo State University.
So you have really been
Angelo.
a part of San Angelo. Then
Yes,
what
ma'am.
did you do after you finished?
Well, I majored.
And ASU.
Okay, well, yeah, I majored in education, and after that I did my student teaching at Goliad Elementary.
Great,
and,
exemplary elementary.
Yeah, I just left there,
Uh-huh.
and those kids are just full of energy. I'll tell you, they were good. But yeah, I did my student teaching at Goliad, and got hired on that same year, and so I taught 2 years at Goliad in 4th grade.
And you're now in Austin, which is one of my favorite cities too.
Austin's a great city.
So what are you doing there?
I am continuing with my education. I am teaching still, 4th grade. As I'm teaching the exact same thing I was teaching here. I teach language arts, writing, and social studies, and I am teaching at a school called Travis Heights Elementary, and I'm loving it. Austin is a great place, and the parents there are really good. It's a great. They've helped me a lot in this new B Liggy stuff that I'm doing.
Well, let's just talk about that, because
Okay.
when I was in your mother's classroom in the recent days, I just walked in and she was playing a tape, and pretty jazzy, because kids love to move.
Yeah, they do.
And it was about education, though.
Absolutely.
And are all of yours about one topic?
I've got songs about all of it. It kind of started, I was always that kid that you heard all of the adults always saying that it's that rap music, why these kids are the way they are, it's TV and all that, it's rap music and all that kind of stuff. And so when I actually started teaching myself, I started saying the same thing. I was like, oh my goodness, it is this rap music. Look at y'all, you know? And it was like, we can't, you can't tell me what a noun is, but you know all the lyrics to all of these songs. So I thought to myself, well, if I put the information to a beat, then maybe, just maybe, they might be able to remember it and apply it to whatever it is that they were doing.
And it works.
And it works.
It does work.
It's crazy how it works.
Years and years ago, before you were born, when I was teaching, I would put the multiplication tables and lots of vocabulary to music, and kids, they can't help it.
You can't.
They will learn it as long as they can move.
Oh yeah.
And they will, and good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, because my mom, she even, whenever I was in 3rd grade, because math is my worst subject ever. I'll tell you what, me and math don't get along very well. So she was my teacher, and she still has these records of these multiplication table songs. And I swear to you, to this day, I still sing those songs. And I might not be able to tell you. It works, because I might not be able to tell you what 7 times 3 was unless I sang the song.
Unless you hum it.
It has to be in my head a little bit.
But you know how many kids learn the states and their capitals to songs? And don't most little children learn the order of the alphabet to a song?
I still
this
sing the
isn't hard.
too. I know. I totally agree.
Were you musically involved when you were at Central?
I did theater whenever I was in Central. I was in choir in junior high, and my family's very musical. My aunt, who's also a teacher at Fannin Elementary, Pam Wanguma, she plays the piano, and we're a very musical family. My father, not so much, although he doesn't know that he's not. But he'll still sing too. But in theater, I did musicals and things like that.
Okay.
So performing and doing that kind of thing has always been something that I felt comfortable doing.
And a passion?
And a definite passion.
So is that what you were mainly involved in at Central? What was the theater, one-act play?
Yes, I did a lot of the theater. I played basketball too, but we don't. I'm no Blake Ligon in the athletic department, so we don't really remember my athletic skills. But theater was a deep passion of mine, and I used to. And it was funny because in high school, I had that dream of being a movie star, and I wanted to be all of these things. And the older I got, and the way my life kind of went and the career that I got into, I was able to do all the things that I wanted to do geared towards children. And so I kind of feel like at this point that I am doing what it is that I wanted to do. Tweaked a little bit, but I think now it just was more realistic the way this worked out, and so I'm happy with it.
Well, you're able to use the thing you're passionate about as well as your gifts.
Absolutely.
And to influence young people. Wow. Well, I can't imagine how neat it would be to be in your class, Brandon, because we cannot have enough hopeful, joyful environments for kids nowadays. Regardless of socioeconomic status, kids need to know that their leader loves them and is as joyful as possible.
I try my best, because there's always those days where you're just not in the mood, and the kids are always doing things, and they don't understand good moods and bad moods. They don't know what kind of morning you had, and they're always the way they are all the time. And so I've had to, with practice, get used to that, and being able to not show them what happened at home has nothing to do with me here. I'm happy to be here. And really, when you're in a bad mood, the kids are the perfect people to cheer you up.
Well, I will tell you, much of the time after I became either a principal or a superintendent, people have said, maybe you ought to go get a kid fix over at a school.
What's going over there?
Because they absolutely are the joy, or our joy. Well, it was partially, though, in your DNA with your family and your mom and your aunt being great teachers, and what a blessing. Who else in this school district was an influence for good for you?
One of the biggest influences, Judy Knight, is seriously, I honestly believe that I wouldn't be half of what I am right now in this area without her. She is actually, we worked together. I did a summer camp back when I was in high school, and she was still starting to work on her, might have been her master's, and something she'd already had, and she was working and doing that, and so that's how we got to know each other. And I was just like kind of her assistant, and I was just kind of helping her with the kids do some things. And as the years went on, we just kind of developed this friendship, and then she started helping me when I started teaching, and then and so now we've just kind of been working together, and now I go to conferences and that she set up, and I do things there, and she has been amazing.
Well, what an outstanding mentor, Brandon. You chose well.
Yeah, she chose me, I think. I just kind of hung on. I just wasn't going to let go.
Her, how she teaches folks to help children just make good choices, and then her instructional strategies.
She's amazing.
She has really impacted this district in a powerfully positive way. Well, excellent. Yeah. Well, so besides drama, what else? And you said you played basketball.
I don't know if we call it playing. I might have just hung out and dribbled a ball or two.
Well,
I also, while I was here in San Angelo, I did a kids TV show that came on Fox, and I did that for a couple of years. And what it was a program that came on right after school, Monday through Friday, and the cartoons that would come on, I would come on in between them as like the host, and whatever the theme was for the week. If it was Insect Week, I'd have facts about insects and I'd talk about things of that. And, and I even rapped and did little things on that show too. And so it just, like I was saying before, it just seemed like the older I got, I was doing all the things that I had the dreams of doing. It just was heading in the direction towards kids. And that's kind of what let me know, like, this is where my gift is. This is what, this is my audience. This is who I can really make a difference towards. And so that's what made me kind of pursue that and just stick with that. Because, of course, but in the beginning, I wanted to be on Grey's Anatomy and be the hot new doctor that came in and operated on somebody's brain. But, then I just became an educational rapper instead.
Well, you're influencing and making a huge difference in kids' lives. And now through your Be Liggy series of tapes, you're going to influence kids who won't ever get a chance to meet you. And what a great thing for a man as young as you are, really. Well, we are, how proud we are, this city is, and your former teachers, and there are a lot of people who still live here in San Angelo that I know claim you as a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're the kind of people want as a friend. Well, you are. You're not I've already heard a lot about you, that you're a generous, unselfish person.
Thank you.
And
they didn't pay you to say that.
Your mama did not pay me to say that.
Okay, I'll make sure. It's like, wow, who were you talking to?
But don't you think, surely people have told you that you add joy?
Well, yeah, and that's just, I like to smile all the time, and people, that sometimes some people think that I'm not taking something seriously because I'm always smiling, and even in the most stressful situations, especially in teaching, hey, my kids got to pass this text test too, I've got the same struggles and the same issues.
Absolutely.
And I just found out that frowning about it doesn't put a 4 on that writing composition, and I felt like if I'm happy and if I'm smiling, then that gets passed on to my kids and they feel more confident. If I come in and I'm stressing and I'm all over the place, it wears off on the kids. It goes to the kids too.
There's no doubt about that.
They get it. And I've seen it. I've been in that mood and seen them be like, okay, this is not working today. It's not. So I had to go back and change my attitude so that they could change theirs.
Well, do you and your mom and your aunt compare notes?
Oh, yeah.
About children, about a certain child in your class
Absolutely.
That is either a challenge or a delight?
Yeah. I talk to my mother all the time. We'll call and we'll talk about all kinds of stuff that's going on. How was your day today? Well, this happened in my room today. And we'll just get to telling stories and things like that. And really, it's helped me out because I think to myself how lucky I am that I have all of these educators in my family that are just a phone call away that can help me because they've done it. Now, of course, sometimes I may think I know what to do, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, whatever. But I normally do what it is that they say. I just don't let them know. It's like, that was what I said. You just said it after me, and so you're taking credit for it. But they've really helped out, all of them. I mean, and especially during student teaching, all of those things. Like, it was just like, sometimes I felt like I was like, maybe this isn't fair. Y'all shouldn't be helping me like this. But it was just great because I was able to bounce my ideas off of them and say, as a teacher, does this work? Because
so have they ever looked at you and said, that is just not going to work?
All the time, yeah. Sometimes I don't like to hear it because I'm like, well, I think it will. And then when it doesn't work out, I'm like, I should have listened to it. I should have.
There's a lot of wisdom in those two ladies.
They're wise people. They are, because, my mom be like, oh, I've only been doing this 28 years. I mean, you take your 5 and you do it then, since you know. Just like, well, I will then. And, then
But she's right more than not, isn't she?
All the time. What is that with mothers? It makes me sick. I'm just like, wow, that was right. It sounds so crazy.
We've lived, and we've raised sons like you.
I guess that y'all would know. If anybody would know, it would be you guys. I'm just like, why does she think she knows everything? Because she's my mother.
Yeah, well, and she wants so badly for you to be the best you can be.
Oh.
But oh my stars, is she proud of you, as she should be.
Oh.
So many of us, when our children are young, and I told you before we started this interview that I was our son's principal, and there were moments that it wasn't as easy because, like you, he felt called to be the joy for the school, and was sometimes the court jester, and
that was so me.
I recognize that.
I was.
But we are so proud of the young men that you have turned out to be, and what you're dedicating your life to is such a worthy cause, Brandon. And I hope whatever you do, there's no telling what really you will be. No. I happen to think you would be a good administrator.
Ooh, I got to work on my organization. Paperwork is my weakness.
Well, you have a great view of life and joy that we need more of. But it is my great pleasure to get to know a Central Bobcat who is doing a worthy occupation of teaching fourth graders in Austin, Texas. How lucky Austin is to have you, Brandon.
Well, I'm lucky to have them too, because like I said, I learn from them every day, and I hope they're learning something from me. So it's a give and take. They teach me patience.
Now, and you know, the only way to learn patience is to be tried.
Absolutely. I agree. I think I might be the most patient person in the world.
Okay, now I didn't ask you this ahead of time. But would you do a brief educational, teach me something through one of your raps?
Oh, yeah, you didn't, because you asked me this because I was like, I don't know if I'll do this. Okay, all right, let's see here. Let's see. I'm sitting up there like I don't know any of the songs now that you told me this. Okay, I'll tell you this. Since math is my worst subject.
Okay.
I have a song about the keywords in math problems.
Okay.
So.
Like so our audience will know.
Okay.
Word problems are hugely tested on TACS.
Super, yeah.
So that not only do I have to know how to do computation of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, but I have to be able to read a problem, throw out the unnecessary items that they try to confuse us with.
I tell them, they try to get you guys.
And see if I can pick out a keyword first off to know if it says more than, less than, it'll tell me whether I need to add or subtract. Now, those are key words.
Those are the key
now,
words.
teach me something.
All right, so we'll do the multiplication. It says here, it says, now that we got that right, you can feel the sensation. Let's move on to keywords for multiplication. Now, don't let these problems get you stuck. Multiply when they ask, what's the product? It's so simple when you sing this rhyme. Multiply 2 when you hear the words of and times. Last but not least, your final decision. Does your next problem call for a little division? This is good info that I have supplied. The words quotient and ratio mean to divide. I think we got another hit. Divide when you see the words like shared and split. So when you see a word problem, read through and attack. Do you add, multiply, divide, or subtract? Boom.
Give me 10.
Yeah. Boom.
Wow.
So.
And you know what, kids? They'll get that in the second, third day that you go over it.
And I tell you, and that is one of the craziest things, because I'm by no means none of the great rappers in the world or whatever, but I know the feeling now when you see a kid or somebody singing a song that you wrote, and like I'll play a song in my classroom just as they're coming in the room, and I'll see them singing it, and I'm just like, they're singing a song that I wrote. They know this.
And they're learning something.
And they're learning. They're spitting out all kinds of information.
Like quotient.
Yeah.
Way to go, Brandon Ligon.
Thank you.
What a neat young man. Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank you.